Introduction to English Translation and your teacher Grace Fang. Look at this image. In this course, you really have to squeeze your brain and do a very good job. So, in this course, I want you try to think of this image. You know, a lot of people who are working together and create a picture. So, in this course, you have teamwork, of course, but you also have a lot of individual work. During the translation exercise, you need to apply your creativity and you need to know how to enjoy it. Before we start the course, I want to talk about a few things. We need to think of the definition of translation. Is that really, you get a piece of something and then you convert it from one language into another? Now, we have AI, artificial intelligence, who can do a very quick job, and the quality actually is not that bad. And how far AI can do vs how much we can do. Is there a kind of competition between machine and us? Of course, there is. Can translator be replaced by AI, Google Translation, or any kind of translation machine or translation app? It's possible, but I still believe some kind of text, especially literature related, is a kind of something from the bottom of our heart, which is so deep that AI cannot reach, that I do believe human being can do a better job. So, what is the new meaning of translation now? This is the questions we need to think carefully before we do the job of translation. In the very beginning, I will lead us to think a few translation problems, translation challenge, but we're going to look at especially literary translation. I do believe literature is something in human soul which cannot be replaced by machine, by AI. Therefore, we're going to do some poetry translation. I will teach text analysis. We use the techniques to go into the very, very deep part of the text. And then we're going to practice some novel translation. And hopefully, in the future, some of you will become a translator, and you're going to introduce a lot of good English novel or British novel to Taiwanese readers. And then we're going to move on to do the movie subtitle translation. When you are doing translation, very likely you will feel that somehow, some kind of nuance, you cannot conquer it. There is still something that the human translator cannot reproduce to be as good as the source text. So, when we encounter this kind of untranslatability, I would suggest we can only use some other effect to compensate this part. And then what I suggest is the translation performability. That means we try to make our TT perform to compensate that part, that nuance we cannot recreate. And then we will look at Western translation theories and compare them with Eastern translation views. From source text to target text, from ST to TT, there must be something done so that the gap between the language and even between the culture can be kind of, bridged. And we can really bring another foreign culture into ours and help our readers to really enjoy a piece of literature. As a professional translator, I would suggest we need to think of a few questions before we decide to be a translator, before we take on this job. What is our responsibility? How can we bridge the cultural gap? what more should we do to, say, publishing industry and literary translation? So as long as we can face these questions and we can ask ourselves and we can find the answers, I believe we can be a very good translators and better than AI, better than machine. Okay, if you are interested in what I say, you are very much welcome to join this course.